Florida Congressman Byron Donalds joins me now. Congressman, what's your reaction to some of the comments that we've been hearing?
I think they're absolutely disgusting. It demonstrates an issue we have in America right now, where there is a disdain or a dehumanization of people on the right, simply because they have strong disagreements with the radical left. And I think that the radical left's view has been that their ideas in the mainstream. I mean, obviously they are not. They've been soundly rejected election after election. And so what has become clear is that on the radical left, they now view violence as okay, or they laugh at it, or they smirk at it. And that's just flat out disgusting. It's wrong. Our nation, you have to be able to speak freely. And that's not just government stopping you from speaking freely. It's about fellow Americans allowing public debate and not thinking that now violence or rage is the answer when they don't get their way, they don't get the answers they want to hear. Or there's somebody who, like a Charlie Kirk, who is so influential amongst young people that they're actually changing their minds.
Yeah, that's the point. Are you worried about your own safety?
Yeah, of course. My wife is very concerned. My kids are concerned. Everybody is shaken in this moment. And we can't be the more perfect union. We can't be the United States of America if elected officials and other prominent people in our society now feel threatened. And now they have to hire up these massive security apparatuses just so they can continue to exercise their free speech in the United States. We need to change. It's wrong. We cannot continue like this as a country.
Next one, Congressman. Listen to what FBI Director Kash Patel had to say about the alleged assassin.
The father informed us, pursuant to an interview of him, that he looked at the video that we released that evening and the enhanced photos and identified the suspect. His family has collectively told investigators that he subscribed to left-wing ideology, and even more so in these last couple of years. And he had a text message exchange, he, the suspect, with another individual, in which he claimed that he had an opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and he was going to do it because of his hatred for what Charlie stood for.
Congressman, how do we stop this kind of hateful rhetoric? How do you just cut it off and stop it? How do you do that?
I think it starts with elected officials, political leaders, influencers. We have to continue to have robust debates, Stu. That cannot stop. If you shut down robust debate, it ends America, as far as I'm concerned. So that's number one. But two, everybody's got to respect the humanity of their rival. We all got rivals in life, people we compete against. That's just the natural state of human beings. But you have to respect their humanity. You have to acknowledge the fact that they are well-meaning people, most of the time, not all of the time. But they want to be able to go home and see their families. And I think that a lot of this is really being fomented on the political left because they really don't value life anyway, whether it's in the womb or walking the planet.
Well, you knew Charlie Kirk personally. I had a lot of contact with him. I have to say that I never heard him say anything hateful. I never even heard him raise his voice. He wasn't a hate monger. He was not like that. That wasn't the way that guy was. He was a profound Christian. Last word to you, sir.
No, you're absolutely correct. Charlie had very strong opinions, very strong ones. He shared them openly and widely with everyone. But he respected people. He did respect their humanity. We need to follow that example going forward.
Indeed. Thank you very much for being on the show this morning, sir. Always appreciate it. Congressman, thank you.
Thank you.